calling for a 100-day plan from our Philadelphia Police Department together with our Managing Director's Office to, in essence, lay out our vision for keeping Philadelphia safe. The best police commissioner in the country, our police commissioner. Yes. Kevin Bethel delivered that 100-day plan to my desk, and the Philadelphia Police Department has been busy executing on that plan ever since. Homicides are down dramatically, so are shootings. We, on our current pace, Philadelphia, we should see the lowest number of homicides and shootings in Philadelphia in over 50 years. Hello. But I want you to know that we are not resting. Today marks the next step, a shared vision for a safer Philadelphia. I am thrilled to be here as we discuss the 5-year public safety strategic plan, a powerful blueprint that moves us closer to what you often hear me refer to as the Philadelphia that I want to see become the safest, cleanest, greenest big city in the nation with access to economic opportunity for all. Since taking office, restoring a fundamental sense of public safety has been one of my top priorities. I declared a public safety emergency because our residents deserve to live without fear of gun violence, property crime, or the substance use disorder and addiction and mental and behavioral health challenges that we see in our neighborhoods, and are working extremely hard to ensure that Philadelphians have access to the services and supports that they need. Police Commissioner Bethel came up with a comprehensive public safety plan that addresses these issues. And our Police Commissioner, Kevin Bethel, he is not only in essence meeting that charge, but quite frankly, Philadelphia, you should know that he is creating something that has never been done before here in the city of Philadelphia. He's co-creating a public safety plan with the community. And no, that wasn't a mistake. The Philadelphia Police Department and our police commissioner, they've created and co-authored a public safety plan where the community has been at the nucleus. The community is taking an active role, not a passive role, but an active role in affirming what they want public safety to look like in our city. I also now want to use this opportunity to affirm that I have been and will continue to be absolutely unapologetic in my support for the men and women of the Philadelphia Police Department, for the strong and decisive leadership that they display on a daily basis. This administration has fully backed our department with new funding, efforts to hire hundreds of new officers, and I'm proud to say, through a new contract to improve recruitment and retention, which includes officer wellness initiatives. We are giving, that's something that we should be proud of. We are giving our police department the resources that it needs to protect and serve our city. The strategic plan, the 5-year plan, it will be evidence-based, a data-driven framework built directly upon the foundation of our initial successful efforts that we all saw in the Commissioner's 100-day plan. I also want you to know that nothing has changed as it relates to Philadelphia's comprehensive the process the elements that we include as a part of our public safety plan. And that's the core. It's rooted in what I refer to as the pie: prevention, intervention, and enforcement. So you should never talk to me as your mayor and talk about one aspect of the comprehensive plan, because one alone won't do it. We focus on all of those elements. Prevention means investing early in our youth and communities, giving young people and adults, not just young people, pathways to success and an opportunity for them to not aim haplessly on our streets. Intervention means meeting people where they are, offering treatment and supportive services to those who are struggling with addiction and violence. And you've seen our efforts as we've prioritized neighborhoods like Kensington. And I want to say a special thank you. You're going to hear from him in a few minutes, but our Office of Public Safety and our amazing director, Adam Gear, you and your team have done an amazing job. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you. And the enforcement, that means restoring order, holding those who commit crimes accountable, and ensuring that our police are visibly and effectively deployed through data-driven strategies like Operation Pinpoint and increased foot patrols. The commissioner knows I'm unapologetic about supporting my community policing. I like to see officers on the beat, riding the bike, talking directly with the people that they're sworn to protect and serve, and they have been doing an amazing job. We're here because ultimately this plan recognizes that we cannot simply arrest ourselves away from the public safety challenges that we face. We must be smart in how we address public safety in Philadelphia, and that holistic, community-focused approach has to be designed to make sure that Philadelphians feel safe in their homes, on the street, and in our business quarters. So the details you are about to hear represent not just the plan for the police department, but a comprehensive, all hands on deck commitment across city government, and most critically with you, Philadelphia, our community partners. I'm going to turn it over now to Commissioner Bethel, but I want to say to Dave and to Pedro and to Councilmember Curtis Jones, who along with our City Council President Kenyatta Johnson have been laser focused on addressing public safety for a very long time. Councilmember Jones, your blueprint for a safer Philadelphia that sits on our desk, along with that 100-day plan, and now this 5-year strategic plan. And we want to thank you for your leadership. You're now going to hear from our Police Commissioner Bethel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I have a section here, but I want to jump ahead as the mayor walks over. I'm just so grateful for the mayor's leadership. I was a guy who was not coming back to the department at one point, and someone called me and said, "Don't tell me no." I didn't get the job, but it was like, I want to talk to you. But it was then where the mayor would present her plan. A 15, I believe, 20-page document that laid out her vision for safety in the city of Philadelphia. Then that would be, I get the chaser with Councilman Jones, who had his plan, his blueprint. And then the mayor would, before he walked in the door, said, here's your executive orders, and gave us our charge. And so I just want to be very clear that what we're about to embark on in our 5-year strategic plan is really, really rooted in the mayor's vision then, before she came into office, and even prior to that. And so my role taking that charge now is to move back forward. So I just want to say, Mayor, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for understanding the importance of safety in this city and what is necessary to move that forward. One of the things I learned from the mayor in that moment was that, Kev, you can't do it by yourself. An intergovernmental big tent model is how you get it done. And so when I see colleagues here today, Maureen Rush, who's from the foundation, Adam Gear, who's the public safety director and runs that space, Sean, who is here from the coalition, and others, and from the William Penn Foundation, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the team. I saw David from the coalition and Sean from the, I just want to say thank you. I mean, Pedro's been with me since I arrived, and even before that, and the team together, all of them together, saw it was worthy to invest in us. And I just want to say, this is part of the work, and how you really get things done, understanding that space. I have members of my team here, and as the mayor say, you may say Kevin Bethel, but she knows, and I recognize that as she does, that this is a team effort. And so I have members of my team here, Commissioner Stanford, Commissioner Massey, Commissioner Healy, he's my attorney as well, so he keeps me in line. But I just want to thank you, and most importantly, Roosevelt Poplar, the president of the FOP. You don't start down this path without partnerships, and somebody who's willing to sit in the room. And yes, it's not perfect. But the men and women who move in this strategic plan are his men and women that he represents. And so I just want to say how I appreciate his support. And then David Zaga, I asked David Zaga, I stole him from the school district. David, for those who don't know, helped to create the strategic plan for the school district. I was involved in that process, became fully amazed in how we would be able to bring that together. And after a year of working, I was able to get him from the school district and come on our team as our executive director of strategic planning, and he is leading that space, and he'll be able to answer more of the granular questions. But as indicated, this is the voice of the community is central to this plan. This is a plan that's being developed inclusive, and it's collaboration, involving residents, neighbors, business leaders. And I often would tell people, is it policing the community or community policing? Those are sometimes, gets lost in the conversation of how we need to operate. And no, we haven't really taken time to really stop and say, what does it look like? And to get that done, we have to do that together. We have to listen to the men and women in the department. And so we're doing a dual process. We're working with our business leaders and others, but we have to do that on both sides. And so David Zaga could come up and talk about how he's built so many, 200 men and women, both inside and outside the department, are in building this process. And so it's absolutely exciting if I walk into a room, and I've been happening on my 5th floor, to walk up and see community members in our building telling us how we want you to operate. At the same time, I got police officers and sergeants and lieutenants and captains and inspectors and chiefs in a room saying, this is what we want. That collective energy and that collective bond is what's going to drive us forward as an organization, not just today. A 5-year strategic plan that hopefully turns into a 10-year strategic plan and also sets us up. So those partnerships are important. For this plan to succeed, it must be built with trust. Yes. We talk about trust. But what does that actually mean? How can you not, the mayor always said, you can't be what you can't see. That's right? So how can you invest in a plan if you can't see yourself in that plan? Wow. Right? How can you invest in this work if you don't see yourself a part of that work? And so part of that is taking the mayor's vision for us and really bring it to life. Because I know how important community policing is to this mayor and to this city. And the mayor, she said, it's not what you say, it's what you do. Right? And that's what we're embarking on today. Understanding that policing alone cannot solve every issue. And so that's why we will continue to have this holistic approach. I have a friend behind me, Adam Gear, from the Office of Public Safety. There was sometimes people question, what is this? That's right. Like, what? I was like, he don't tell me what to do, and I don't tell him what to do. Right. But in all seriousness, we have built an incredible relationship. When the mayor talks about our PI, prevention, intervention, and enforcement, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, this is my rider guy over here on my left. He has embedded himself in our department. He is one of the most quality human beings I've ever met. I know his parents raised this man well. But we are working together. And so that's why he plays a central role in building our strategic plan So we're not on an island by ourselves, and that we link all of the things that his team is doing and what the mayor is doing across the city to make sure this is an effective plan. As indicated and shared, there's 200 participants in this program, in this process. They will help us in the execution and creation of this plan. And as I indicated, including this panel, is community members, advocates, business leaders, and ladies and gentlemen, everybody knows my youth work. I don't do nothing without getting my young people's voice. And if you don't think they've given us a lot to talk about, Dave, they give us a lot to talk about this work. But, you know, my work around youth engagement and juvenile justice remains a focal point of that work. And so sitting in those rooms, listening to those young men and women talk about how they see policing. Wow. And where do they want to see policing 5 years from now? Wow. And how they want to be treated in this space. And that sets us up for the future, because if we can meet them where they are, we can be highly effective. So throughout this planning process, staff and community members have highlighted the importance of investing in our force, which I appreciate. We're making critical adjustments in our hiring, focus on our targeted recruitment for diverse force that reflects the city we serve. That's right. And we're committing significant resources to our officer wellness and professional development. If you hear the folks in the room, it's one of the most amazing things when you listen to the community. They're saying the things that my cops want: training. Yeah. They know that our officers need to be trained. But guess what? For the first time, we also hear the community say they need to have wellness. And you need to make sure that you're taking care of those men and women, because if they're cared for, they'll care for us. Yes, listening to those things align are so important. So I just want to, before I end, just say that how much I appreciate everyone here. Where's Jasmine at? Jasmine Riley, where Dr. Riley at? She's hiding back here. She's over here. Well, I have a corporal, but Dr. Riley, I call her because she's a doctor. She got a PhD. I didn't acknowledge her, and Commissioner Slauson, I apologize. Commissioner Slauson, I see you over there, but you know how I feel about you, and she's been always supportive. But I see, Corporal Riley has been, Dr. Riley, has been supporting Dave on this work, so I didn't want to be remiss if I didn't see you over there and acknowledge you in that work. So I'll end finally. I want to end with a direct call for action for every resident. Your input is vital. So this is a transparent process. We're going to have a website up. We have things that are going up to let you know what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, my goal is this. I have taken the charge of this amazing leader to my left and now moved it into action. And we want that to be something that we all agree on. Because our vision, my collective team, is we all agree on this, that this is the strategy moving forward for us as a city and moving my agency forward, that you all buy in to be able to do that. And I'll be reaching out to my council member to support that with the funds as well. So we'll talk about that for another day. And so it's vital for you, the community, to be engaged in this process. We want you to personally encourage all of our community members to take the public survey by visiting phillypolice.com and clicking Learn More and take the survey. I also encourage you to visit phillypolice.com/strategic planning. That's phillypolice.com/strategic planning to learn more about the strategic planning process and get updates on our upcoming public forums and town halls. This is our city. This is a great leader to my left. This is our plan. And together, if we build a safer and stronger, more prosperous future, if we do this right. So I just want to thank you, Madam Mayor, for the opportunity to be in this position to lead this organization under you. It is one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life, and it's an honor to serve you and serve the city of Philadelphia. Thank you.
So a plan starts here, but it trickles down to the ground, Madam Mayor. And Monday, I saw the evidence of that plan in my district at 54th and Arlington Street. There had been a confrontation with young people loitering on the corner. The merchants were complaining. Some of the seniors were afraid to walk by them. And we complained and convened with the 19th Police District, and something magical happened. I'm riding down the street on my way to work. I see about 4 officers standing on the corner, 6 or so young people faced off, and I'm thinking that something bad's about to happen. So I pulled over like Batman. I pulled up and I said, "What's going on?" "We're just talking." They're telling us what they want. We're saying what we expect. We are trying to balance those concerns because the seniors, where we built affordable luxury housing, want to feel comfortable coming out their house. I stepped back and I said, "Well, y'all carry on." And so when you write these plans and they manifest at the local level, I see it. It's sometimes a delayed reaction, but it gets down there, and there is a correlation between trust with the community and the policing and reduction of crime. Because we all too often, you all too often in uniform, see our young people on their worst day, but not at their best potential. And we're beginning to bridge that through community policing. And I'm excited about the next chapter of this plan and seeing how it impacts my district and my community. Thank you so very much for doing it.
Dave, Sean, Maureen, you're standing next to Paige. Can you all come down here, please? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Pedro Ramos, President CEO of the Philadelphia Foundation, joined by Sean McCaney, Executive Director of the William Penn Foundation, David Brown, who's the Executive Director of the Civic Coalition to Save Lives, and friend and partner Maureen Rush from the Philadelphia Police Foundation. The colleagues to my right and your left are involved with the Civic Coalition to Save Lives. Sean McCaney, William Penn Foundation, and I co-chair the steering committee of the Civic Coalition to Save Lives, and David is our leader. The Civic Coalition to Save Lives came together at a time of crisis where we, like a lot of others, including Councilwoman Parker, were not just responding to what was going on in 2022, but trying to understand what could be done about it. And it's fascinating, when the mayor launched her public safety agenda and put PI front purpose, because I'm sure the press said, "Oh, that's cute." It's a very rigorous framework. Prevention, intervention, enforcement. One of the premier authorities on this is somebody named Thomas Abt, who lays out sort of this PI framework that the mayor talks about. And as you never heard of Thomas Abt, but you've heard about PI now because the mayor has turned the idea into policy. And with the police department, turned it into action. This notion that you have to balance all three: prevention, intervention, and enforcement. Because when you don't, you end up over-leaning one way or the other. And that middle piece, that intervention piece, was often overlooked or uncoordinated. And in this administration, you have an office and a partnership built for dealing with intervention. And we've got, so the coalition, was formed with the idea that the private sector, private nonprofit provider organizations, businesses, philanthropy, needed to not just be informed, but stay informed about the good work and be able to speak to when good things happen and be able to support good things happening. And part of that is not just supporting the good thing, the specific good thing, but also making that available for the long term. So when we heard of the opportunity to partner in support of the strategic plan, we said, what a moment. I've been in this office a lot, as some of you know, for the last 3 decades. And I don't know that we've had a moment like this for community safety. We certainly haven't had a moment like this in terms of violence intervention and violence reduction. And that's terrific. This is going to, there's success here. It needs to be heard from more than the mayor's office. The rest of us have to be able to carry that. We also don't want it to go away. And that's why we've invested in this strategy. We know we've got a mayor on the right agenda. We've got partners in philanthropy. We've got not just the best police commissioner in the country. I think we could end probably our best police commissioner in Philly. Probably may end up being the most, between the mayor, commissioner, Director Gear, the most transformative time in the city's history for what's possible. This isn't about today's data. This is about this sticking through a generation. Everybody's talked to me in the last 4 years or the last 4 months knows all I talk about is my grandkids, right? David talks, this is not just about getting to work today or going home. This is about what this team right now is building for future generations in Philadelphia, with not just the prevention, the intervention and enforcement as one city, one coordinated city. You also have up here a different pie. You've got the passion, the intellect, and the execution. Yes, sir. And that's what's up here. Wow. And we should take stock of this. So the Civic Coalition to Save Lives has been not just thrilled to have been supported, but as we've been hearing about how the strategy's going, and we fund a lot. We've over the years funded lots of strategies, lots of types of organizations, have sit on boards. We've been involved in this. This is one of the most impressive strategy processes, public or private sector, that I know I've experienced, and most of us as funders have experienced. This is the real deal, and we're proud to be a part of it, and looking forward to what the benefit for this for years to come. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership.
Good morning, everyone. And I'll keep this short because I'm still recovering from those very nice words that the commissioner said about me. I hope my mom was watching. I get the footage.
I can do it again.
It's truly an honor to be here. And you hear the commissioner start off. I always start off by thanking the mayor for her leadership. The reason why we do this, ladies and gentlemen, is because she is the real deal. We are blessed and fortunate to have her in our ushering in this new field that everyone is a part of, right? Bringing folks together. We're standing up here, and the mayor's been very intentional about bringing folks up in opportunities like this, and we know each other, right? We all know each other real well. Dave, we're having coffee later, right? Pedro, we know each other. We work together. I want Philadelphians to know, just like what Pedro was saying, it is the truth. We are passionate about what we do. We have the leader who's risen to the time and the opportunity that we all need, and we are just following her, marching forward together. I had a unique opportunity in my last job, the Deputy Inspector General of Public Safety. What did I do? Supposed to look at the police department, examine the police department for efficiencies. What are they up to? Got a little look under the hood. I can tell you from that unique vantage point that the commissioner and his leadership in this strategic plan is, I'm going to use this word, it is transformative. This is a police department that under his leadership and at the direction of the mayor will continue to do things like this, meaningful things. You see the QR card. We want our community to buy in. This is our city. This is the best city in the world, and it is only going to continue to get better, but we need the community and folks to buy in, to use this code and to help us plan. Help us plan for our future, which is here, and it is now. So I'm just really excited to get to work, to continue to get to work with everyone and make this the safest city in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge a few others who have joined us. Another member, two other members of the City Council of Philadelphia, Council Member Jeffrey Young from the 5th District and Council Member at Large Nina Ahmad. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you both for being here today. Pedro, I want you to know just seeing the four of you sort of from our private sector, from our community-based sort of nonprofit organizations, seeing the four of you standing up, what you just affirmed is that government, we can't do this alone. We can't move without the support from our philanthropic community. And I want you to know we mean that in every way imaginable. And that's, well, listen, your financial support is important. I don't want to dismiss that or poo-poo that, but let me affirm this. It's the technical support. It's the third eye. It's the fresh set of eyes from a data-driven and research-based perspective that you were able to help us bring to the table, and we want you to know that we are very grateful for that. I also want to acknowledge Sam Staten Jr., who is here, because you can't have prevention and intervention without access to economic opportunity for all. And as we talk about training the next generation of skilled workers here in the city of Philadelphia, rest assured our partnership with the Philadelphia Building Trades and their apprenticeship programs will play an essential role. So Sam, we want to thank you so very much. And Roosevelt Poplar, the leader of our FOP, I want you to know that when I first got here, Commissioner Bethel, the first time people saw the three of us, I forget what we were announcing. We were announcing something, Council Member Jones, and people were saying, well, what were you doing standing next to the leader of the FOP? I said, well, how about the commissioner who leads our department and Roosevelt Poplar, who is the leader of the union that represents these men and women who are sworn to protect and serve our city. If we are not talking and not communicating, you know that that is a recipe for disaster. So we all have to work together. You also will hear me affirm that we also have zero tolerance for any misuse and or abuse of authority by the men and women who are sworn to protect and serve. But guess what? That's a part of the formula as well. All of it is interconnected. And for that, I want to say thank you to each of you. Now I want to ask the commissioner to come forward along with Pedro. And if you have any questions for us, we want to make sure we take them. Who are we going to? Yes.
Well, that's the beauty of having a phenomenal strategic planner. So I'll ask the Executive Director, David Zager, to come up and kind of give you an overview of where he's going with the project.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the question. Again, Dave Zager, Executive Director of Strategic Planning for the department. Right now, we're in the process of developing the framework for the plan. So we've heard a lot from our different stakeholder groups. You heard, as we said here, over 200 individuals from across the city are participating. Employee wellness, recruitment and retention, employee development are definitely themes that are emerging. It's been amazing to see that it's not just that coming from the officers, but actually from community members. And we're also hearing it from youth, from young people who are having interactions with law enforcement. They recognize the need for officers to have opportunities to have wellness programs and for additional training as well. So that's definitely going to be a big component. Technology investments also. Right? There's definitely some investments that we could use to make the department more effective and efficient and improve service delivery. So those are some of the major themes that we're hearing right now from our different stakeholder groups. Yeah. Again, right now it's just sort of the framework of the plan. So the different strategies are going to be coming in the next few months. And that's why it's so important that we want additional input from the public right now to help inform those different things. 200 people from across the city are participating in this process, and that's how we're going to be able to distinguish what are those specific things that we're going to do and how we're going to prioritize them importantly and pay for them over the next 5 years. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Well, the Commissioner, can you just reaffirm, because I want to make sure people got that. You have civilians. And can you just reaffirm that for us?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, we have 1,000 non-sworn professional staff in our work. And we're really advancing through the support of the mayor. Most recently, we added 10 victim advocates into our department and a director, Yana Green, who oversees that. In that case, we're calling after every homicide. We reach out to the families, every shooting. We reach out to the family, every person who gets killed in a crash investigation. We're reaching out to the families, and we continue to expand that. So this is very much a holistic approach. And I want to add to what David said. Part of our strategy was, for a long time, we've created these plans, put it on paper, and then came out to the community and say, here it is.
Right.
And so we're not being cagey when we don't have the response. This has to be a bottom-up strategy. It doesn't work. I've been at it almost 4 decades now. John, we've been at it a long time. My team knows those top-down strategies, we may get a piece of it done, but I want more than a piece. And so part of the work now is it's unfair to come in here today, and I know you're not saying that, but to come in here and say, what are your bullets? And we're still meeting with folks. They said, well, you're over there and saying you already got it done. Right? We're going to, now some people are not going to be happy. I mean, we're getting a lot of things come out of these sessions, but I think there's also going to be a large people who are going to see themselves in this report. So we want to let the process work its way out. We're doing a new mission statement, a new vision statement, adding language that customarily police departments didn't talk about. To make sure that people feel that we're connected to us. But at the same time, what really excites about us is that, and two parts of the, there's community parts of it as well, but doing both the inside of the department as well as the outside at the same time. So no one's looking at it, oh, you're doing that for the community, but what about us? And vice versa. And that effort that Dave has created is really creating a lot of synergy, both internally in the department, and we hope we get that same energy and synergy on the outside as well. So.
Thank you. Aaron?
We've been at neighborhood meetings, Commissioner, that you've been at, listening tours, I would say. What maybe is one thing that you've learned from those tours? I don't know, obviously, we're in the community all the time. Is it something about cops being more visible, then walking the community? What's one thing you got from those meetings that you're putting in this plan?
Well, those meetings, we're going to be doing a different subset. I do those meetings when I come back to the department, not specifically for the plan. Just recently, we were out in Roxborough with my entire executive team. Those sessions are just to listen, first and foremost, to holding my folks accountable, that the boss is coming into the community. And so I expect that they're making sure that they're doing and servicing those communities. And so I tell people, you can't know the community unless you get out and get on the ground and meet them where they are. Right? And so I really learn each and every day of the frustration. So we were in Roxborough. And I think Commissioner Stanford rightfully said during that session, no, you don't have a lot of violence, but you got issues.
Right.
And it's our job not to ignore those issues. So they may have a theft from auto issue and a stolen auto issue. And Commissioner Stanford's like, we have to address that.
That's right.
And we wouldn't do that if we don't get out on the ground and say, oh yeah, we're only going to look at homicides and shootings and everybody thinks that's great. Not if they've been breaking in my car on my block all day and every day. And so part of what I learned from those sessions in those moments is really understanding where are people at, and that's why I move around the city, because as you all know, these neighborhoods are different. What Center City wants is different than what Chestnut Hill wants and what North Philly wants. And so part of us also is getting on the ground to make sure we're meeting those people where they are. And you will find there's a significant commonality amongst all of them. So those are the things that we learn. My team is out there to be able to respond to them. And that's the core. We're doing some separate feedback, but that's why we're asking for the surveys and doing the town halls around being very strategic around our strategic plan. Yes,
Wait, Commissioner, I got to say thank you for this. When you give us the synopsis of what occurred at the meeting in Roxborough, I appreciate your affirming that you said, well, yes, you may not have a significant amount of violent crime that is occurring here, but you do have other challenges, and they deserve our attention too. Sometimes people get frustrated. The data becomes important. I'm talking about Philadelphians, the regular, everyday citizen. They hear us give data, and we affirm that, yes, Philadelphia is on track to see the lowest number of homicides and shootings in Philadelphia in over 50 years, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have felt safe in your neighborhood or that you don't have any concerns. We affirm that we are not resting because we don't want you to think now is a time for us to have a party, but it's a time for us to double down. You're right, Pedro. This is not just about the day, but how can we continue this standard operating procedure of us having no silos in the city of Philadelphia? Police department, public safety, philanthropic community, business community, community-based grassroots organizations, little leagues, all coming together. And can I tell you what I'm going to talk about a whole lot when I go out in the neighborhoods? I'm going to talk about the fact that even if you were not able to attend one of those listening sessions or be in person at one of those meetings, we have a way for the Philadelphia Police Department to hear what your concerns are through data and by contacting them and completing the survey that you heard referenced. So that matters to me a great deal, that we're using technology, we're using in-person meetings, we're using the new sort of layer, civilian-based layer that you heard the police commissioner reference with Ayanna Green. All of those are strategies, Commissioner, and I want to say this for the record. None of that was in existence before you arrived as our police commissioner. And so I want Philadelphia to see that this is not the same old order of business. We are not trying to do things the way that we've done them forever. Now we're trying to use innovative strategies and, quite frankly, a bit more organizational structure in how we form the coalitions that we need to make the city of Philadelphia safer overall. Next question. You've been patient.
Thank you for the question. It's a great one. So we've been at this work since May. We'll continue, as we said earlier. Framework is almost done. The strategies will come over the next few months. We hope to have a draft we can put up for public comment right in the beginning of 26. And then the final draft will be at the end of February, just in time for planning for the FY27 budget cycle. Yeah, there's not a specific threshold for the survey necessarily, but I think what we want to emphasize again is the number of people that are participating in the process already, right? It's been very, very intentional. Every rank, every division, every bureau across the department, including our professional staff, members from across city government directly embedded into the process, those that we collaborate most with to deliver services to residents, and then business leaders, civic leaders, community advocates, and again, very importantly, our youth ages 14 to 21. That's 200 people who are lending their voices and their lived experiences to the process. But we're not done yet. We want more, right? So now is an opportunity again to just solicit additional input from the public, and then, as I said, put it out for public comment so we can get even more feedback on the back end as well.
We're going to add Gear to come up in the commissioner as well.
Thank you. And we also, thankfully, due to our grants program, we have about 140 organizations that we fund, $30 million into the community with these groups who are working in that prevention and intervention space. So we're also going to be reaching out to them. Our GVI program, GVIJ, so there's a lot of additional networks and folks who are close to the work, who partner with our police department, who will have something to say.
And I'll add, as Eric, who oversees Eric Grip, who's our public information officer and oversees our social media, we get a lot of, people seem to like to talk about us, right? And seem like policing is a lightning rod to have to engage. And so after we changed our uniform, I think we got quite a bit of engagement. And so I'm hopeful that we get that same level of those who were, don't like my blue, like the blue, get also engaged in what about you? Wow. And how do you want to be involved in something? And so take your comments that you oftentimes layer on social media and layer them into this process to be a part of something. right? And because every time they do that, I just want the community to know that every time you do that survey, which we are going to synthesize and we're going to use, then you become a part of the process. And so you can sit on the sidelines and complain and say that we don't do these things, or you can be part of the solution and engage in the process and share your thoughts. We hope they do it respectfully, but we understand there's some frustration out there. But share that frustration with us as well, because that's important.
Councilmember Nina Ahmad, because when you talk about a communication strategy, we also just don't want the police department being the vehicle through which we are seeking the comments. So we're even intentional with that. Gear everything outside of the police department, the executive branch, but we also have another branch.
That's
and
right.
Councilmember Ahmad to respond there.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you all of you for this transformational vision that we're going to have for Philadelphia going forward. As a member of the 17-member body, our legislative team here, 3 of us are here today. We have the ability to amplify and be a megaphone to reach our constituents across the city of Philadelphia. As a city council member at large, I serve all hopefully 1.6, not 1.5 million people, getting to 2 million. But we also serve on different committees where we work with different agencies and nonprofits and other groups and just regular folks, such as I'm the chair of the Public Health Committee. We're doing a lot of work with community members on certain issues, but we have them to be getting information from us. One of the biggest things that is an issue in Philadelphia is we have a lot of services, many don't know about it.
That's right.
And just FYI, we are passing a bill on voter registration working with LNI, which means, the point that the reporter made about we don't even vote. Well, we're working on all fronts, including public safety, public health, and all. Thank you.
Thank you. So those are e-blasts. They do 10 district council members. Councilmember Young, yeah, I'm the mayor, but I was a former district council person and a former state representative. So I want you to think about the state reps and the state senators e-blasting the surveys out to their respective constituents, then members of city council, and then congressional members. All of us working together. This engagement effort, it cannot fall on the police department's shoulders alone. This will be, again, continuing with our comprehensive approach. Yes, sir. Let me, for the record, Philadelphia, be absolutely clear. When I got sworn in to be your mayor, I was very specific about affirming to you that I will not allow my pride, ego, emotions, or politics of any kind to interfere in my commitment to make the public health and safety of all Philadelphians my #1 priority. And I will not allow anything to interfere with that effort, and nothing about that commitment changed. We are laser focused on what we here in the city of Philadelphia have the ability to do. This 5-year strategic plan and the process, that is what is so transformational, is that our police department is not engaging in this activity alone. We will be approaching this process using what you hear me refer to as the One Philly, a united city mantra. Private sector, philanthropic community, all of us working together. So I'm keeping my eyes on the prize and what the issue that we have at hand, and that's making the public health and safety of all Philadelphians my #1 priority. And I will again not allow my pride, ego, emotions, or politics or anything to interfere with that. Next question, yes. Let me say to you that I also will not be engaging in any hypothetical geometric if-then statements. We have so many challenges that are facing the city of Philadelphia with limited funds in order to address them. The city of Philadelphia is right now trying to function in the midst of a state budget impasse. Our school district of Philadelphia has had to go and get a loan so that it can function on a daily basis. We are now in the midst of a federal government shutdown. And Rob DeBoe, our finance director, and Sabrina Maynard, our budget director, have affirmed that we hope that we get some resolution as soon as possible at both the state and the federal levels, because if we don't, Philadelphia will have a cash flow problem beginning December the 1. So I am staying laser focused on that, and we are focused on what we have the ability to influence here in our city. And listen, for Philadelphians who may be saying to themselves, well, we should be prepared for a crisis, I am proud to affirm that not by what we say, but you saw Philadelphia respond to a crisis. It was the worst black swan event that I have ever seen in our city, and one that no one could have ever controlled for. It was a plane crash in Northeast Philadelphia. And watching our Office of Emergency Management, our Managing Director, Adam Teal, Police Commissioner Bethel, Fire Commissioner Thompson, the entire chief, my big three, Chief of Staff Tiffany Thurman, Vanessa Garrett Harley, along with Sincere Harris, watching them bring government together and it functioning in synergy and an intergovernmental strategy, local, state, and federal. NTSB was in town, state entities were in town, and we managed to keep it moving, and we were not working in silos. And that is the strategy we will continue to employ. Yes.
So we're looking at all aspects of technology. Drones are a big part of that. We're doing something a little bit more advanced than Camden. We won't get into the specifics. We're doing some testing of that now, but we are effectively deploying drones throughout the city, meeting with the community to talk about the use of those drones in their specific areas. We see it clearly as a force multiplier for our work, and we're grateful to the City Council and the Mayor who invested in those funds a year ago to be able to launch this. The Police Foundation is here. They did an incredible job of giving us the early money to get underway. So we have the capacity, but it's a lot of other technologies that we're employing in our work, whether it be when we have a new forensic lab as we move forward through City Council, be able to create that. So we have a lot of things underway when we put into that technology budget, DNA budget, et cetera.
Well, 1 second. We want to stay with technology for a second. You just heard the police commissioner reference that forensics lab. Philadelphia, what doesn't get a whole lot of credit here in the city of Philadelphia is that this police department, under Commissioner Bethel, his executive team, and all of the men and women who are on our force. Commissioner, I want you to just please briefly describe what does clearance rate means and where does the city of Philadelphia, because people don't talk about that with clearance rates.
Yeah, and part of what the technology, where we're already advancing now, right now, we're at historic highs on our clearance rate, around 86% clearance rate, and our homicide rate. Now that goes over past years, but many of those are this year alone. But what's more exciting, using the technology and DNA aspects for us in our shooting investigation group. I mean, they're almost at a 40% clearance rate. That is unheard of. And so we are creating a national model using technology and DNA and others. And so that's why that's a very robust part of our planning prior to the plan, but moving forward into the future.
Joe?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Back to the plan. What is the timeline for the responses to this survey?
Yeah.
Will it involve before the
Yeah, so here's what I'll ask you to do. First and foremost, Dr. Walton used to say something I thought was really good, go slow to go fast, right? And I didn't know what he meant by that when I was over the school district, but I know now. You know, and what we have done in policing, and my team we're always in the red zone, right? We always are, you know, and because of that, we made ourselves very effective to be in that red zone. You give us a problem, get it done. You know, but in this regard, we have never done this in the history of our department. Right, so we're slowing it down. We're going to take our time. Dave is working through. We're not going to ask you to give surveys and then all of a sudden the report's going to come out 2 weeks and people are saying the surveys are still open. And that's why we've asked you to go to our website that has been created so you can see the flow. Right, you can see how we're taking the information come in, how many surveys have come in, you know, working through that process to see what that looks like. And so, yes, we have a timeline, as Dave indicated, to have a draft by the end of the year. We're very laser focused on that. Why? Because, you know, with a 5-year strategic plan, there are some investments. Wow. You know, I mean, working to align our budget around our 5-year strategic plan as far as funding, but there may be new asks that we come to City Council. But what happens when I come before City Council with a really formidable, you know, project or strategic plan, a bottom-up strategic plan, and saying this is what the city wants, this is what the community wants, and we want you to have those investments in us. And we know we won't get it all, but for the first time, I'll come before City Council and be sitting there talking about here's who we are, here's what we want. So we are going to take everything that's coming in. You know, even if you see our meetings in our 5th floor, they're capturing everything that people are saying, talking through that process. So Dave, I hope I didn't butcher that, but that's where we are. I hope I answered your question. We are taking everything. We're going to make sure we get that to inform our work, but also managing expectations. Right. There's 5,000 things are not coming into this strategic plan. Right? We're going to distill that down and really look on those core things that will drive us into the future.
Aaron, and this will clearly be the last one. I do want to affirm, thank you for that. It was the NTSB, but also the other federal organization. It's actually the regulating agency. Its name slips my mind. Both of them issued guidance yesterday to SEPTA. And so SEPTA and its leadership, and I want to say a special thank you to Scott Sauer. I want to give him credit. He hasn't been leading SEPTA for 5 to 10 years. I mean, if he's at 6 months yet. SEPTA and its executive team will respond to the recommendations once they do their internal audit and review for safety of those cars. And it is required by law to respond to its reporting agency along with the NTSB. My office has communicated directly with SEPTA, and they will be responding. But I do want to use this as an opportunity. In Philadelphia, you should know this. When you heard me refer to what I described as a funding scheme, because I didn't view it as a long-term strategy to addressing the needs associated with SEPTA, the mass transit agency that is actually the foundation or the nucleus of the southeastern Pennsylvania economy, not just the city of Philadelphia. We make a mistake when we do that. It is the foundation of southeastern Pennsylvania's economy, and just for the record, 40% of the revenue generated to run the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania comes from southeastern Pennsylvania. So this funding scheme where you would require SEPTA to use funds that they have allocated and budgeted to make capital improvements, in which they've said to me they have about a 10-year backlog, you would tell them to take those operational dollars, those capital dollars to fund operations. That is not a sustainable, long-term, recurring source of revenue, and it cannot maintain its daily function. 700,000 riders it engages every single day. So for me, I consider this a third-party, independent, verifying call to action. It's not Council President Kenyatta Johnson and Mayor Cherelle Parker, or Governor Shapiro and Speaker McClinton and Appropriations Chairman Harris and or Hughes, but these are the governing agencies that SEPTA is required by law to adhere to those rules. They have said that our rail cars, many of them, they have outlived their lives. They're over 50 years old, and nothing should compromise the public health and safety of Philadelphia and southeastern Pennsylvania SEPTA riders. Thank you all so very much for your time. Don't leave. We have to memorialize this moment. Let's all come forward and take a photo. Thank you.